Varnick Core liked his routines. He liked lukewarm algae tea at precisely third bell. He liked paperwork, especially when it involved no surprises. And above all, he liked not being noticed. So when the emergency klaxons blared across Outpost Sarek 9, slicing through the calm of his report review, he immediately suspected two things. 1. Something had gone terribly wrong. 2. It probably involved Nymel. He barely had time to curse before the doors hissed open. "I brought her back safe," Nymel sang, bounding in with the reckless energy of someone too confident to know fear. She was cradling something in her arms. No, someone. A small human child, wide-eyed, chewing on a corner of her sleeve. Varnick stood up so fast he knocked over his thermal flask. Is that what I think it is? Human juvenile. Female. Approximate age, 5 Earth cycles, Nymel replied with the enthusiasm of a scientist delivering a groundbreaking thesis. "I call her Ellie." Ellie waved. "Hi. You idiot." Varnick's mandibles clicked. "You stole a human child?" Nymel tilted her head. "I didn't steal her. I relocated her. For study." "From where?" "The diplomatic vessel that docked this morning. I waited until the taller ones went into the loud room with the flashing lights. She wandered off. I invited her to our outpost." "You abducted a Deathworlder." Varnick clutched his frill in disbelief. "That's not relocation. That's a declaration of war." "But she said yes," Nymel protested. Ellie nodded. "She had candy." Varnick's heart rate spiked. "Do you understand what happens now? The humans don't lose things. They don't misplace children. They retaliate. With missiles." "You're overreacting." The room's lighting dimmed. External sensors flared red. Unidentified vessel approaching orbital perimeter, the base AI chimed. "Design, human frigate, Class K, Assault Recon." Varnick turned to Nymel, his voice low and dead. "Do I look like I'm overreacting now?" The situation spiraled. Varnick tried, God's help him, tried, to contain the madness. First, he initiated a Level 2 containment protocol, reclassifying Ellie as unauthorized diplomatic presence. That might have worked, if the base AI hadn't auto-translated it as hostile bioweapon in custody. Then came the call from Central Command. Varnick barely managed to stall them with a fabricated systems malfunction. "Yes, sir, minor sensor ghosting. Nothing to worry about. Definitely no unauthorized humans here." "Ha. That would be absurd." Ellie sat cross-legged on the floor, drawing squiggly shapes with the stylus she'd taken from Varnick's console. Every now and then, she'd hum a song. He recognized none of it, until she said, offhandedly, "My daddy says if bad guys touch me, he'll erase them from the map." Varnick blinked. "He said that? With those exact words?" "He also said he'd glass a sun for me if I scraped my knee." "Daddy's funny." Nymel beamed. "See? She's perfectly normal." Varnick grabbed her by the shoulders. "Her parents are either psychopaths or high-ranking military. Maybe both. We have to return her before that frigate reaches atmosphere. She's enjoying herself." A gentle tug at his sleeve. "Mr. Bluehead?" Ellie asked sweetly. Varnick froze. "Yes? Can I push buttons?" Before he could stop her, she scampered up onto the command chair. The console lit up, sensing her DNA signature. The AI chimed again. "New command profile recognized, human origin, priority alpha. Full system access granted." Varnick shrieked. "She's got base override. Base security compromised," the AI added helpfully. Nymel's eyes sparkled. "That's amazing. That's horrifying." Varnick turned to the console, hands shaking as he initiated a lockdown sequence. Ellie had already opened the east hangar. "She's 5 and she's hacked our base by accident." A comms ping. A new message. Origin, the frigate. To Outpost Sarek 9. You are harboring a human miner. Stand by for extraction. Refusal will be met with force. There was no signature. Just cold precision. Varnick slumped into his seat. This is how I die. Not in glorious battle. Not in retirement on a warm beach. But vaporized because of you. He glared at Nymel and her. Ellie reached over and handed him her drawing. It was him. Or at least, an approximation, 6 limbs, a rectangle body, and a bright blue head. He was holding hands with a stick figure girl. Both were smiling. Varnick stared at it. Do you like it? She asked shyly. He didn't know how to respond. Nymel did. She's forming bonds. That's a good sign. He stood, walked to the viewport, and stared at the human vessel now gliding into low orbit. That's not a good sign, he murmured. That's the sign before the bombs. Ellie tapped the console again. The lights changed color. The AI chimed, environmental mood lighting activated. Yay! Ellie clapped. Varnick turned slowly. Get her off that console. Now. But she's calm, Nymel whispered. If we upset her. She's a child. We should not be worried about offending a child. He paused. Unless that child is the daughter of someone who can bend gravity with their thoughts. Another ping. This one direct. The screen lit up. A human face appeared, tanned, lined, with piercing gray eyes that looked like they'd seen too much war. His voice was low. We know our daughter is there. We're coming to get her. And if she has a scratch, just one, there won't be a moon left to find. Varnick swallowed hard. Understood. No scratches. None. She's very energetic. Likes buttons. The man didn't smile. He ended the call. Varnick turned to Ellie. Your father's terrifying. Ellie shrugged. He makes pancakes. Nymel tried to look innocent. At least she's well fed. Varnick stared out the window again, muttering to himself. You idiot. You didn't just steal a child. You stole a trigger. And now we all die. Varnick's claws drummed a staccato beat on the console. Every tap was a countdown. The frigate had entered high orbit. Their sensors weren't scanning, they were studying. That meant one thing, they knew exactly where Ellie was. And they were watching. Nymel sipped nutrient gel beside him like this was a routine data audit. Do you understand the situation? Varnick hissed. There's a human warship parked above us. Their child is inside our base. They sent us a threat so specific it read like a funeral notice. She seems happy, Nymel offered. Varnick slowly turned. Happiness is not a metric for survival when her father could crack a planet like an egg. Ellie, oblivious, had built a small fort from supply crates. She peeked over the top and shouted, pew pew, while tossing a crumpled wrapper. It bounced off the command console. Stop letting her touch things, Varnick barked. She's exploring. It's important for juvenile development. She's one button press away from converting this facility into a glowing crater. Before Nymel could argue, the base AI lit up again. Incoming signal. Frigate Reckoner. Priority transmission. Encrypted. Varnick stiffened. Mute all alarms. Lock internal doors. Prep the diplomatic frequency. The screen brightened. A woman appeared, dark skin, sleek black uniform, and eyes sharp enough to pierce hull plating. She didn't smile. This is Commander Ilana Kess. We are initiating surface protocol. Retrieval team drops in 20 minutes. Stand down all defenses. Varnick forced composure. Commander, I assure you, Ellie is unharmed. In fact, she's been very interactive. Define interactive. A shriek from the crate fort. My spaceship crashed. I need snacks to survive. She's stable, Varnick said quickly. Curious. And very vocal. Kessa's eyes narrowed. Return her. Now. We would. But your shuttle departed before we could. You had no authorization to interact. No logs of consent. You took her. Nymel stepped forward. She said yes. I gave her caramel protein cubes. Kess blinked. Dr. Nymel, I read your dissertation. It was naive. Now it's criminal. Varnick nearly fainted. You used your real name? Academic pride, she mumbled. Kess continued. You have 19 minutes. If I detect resistance or evasion, I will not wait for clearance to neutralize. The call ended. Varnick leaned on the console, breath shallow. 19 minutes. That's barely enough time to dig our graves. He needed a plan. Maybe we can return her mid-descent, he muttered. Use the elevator shaft. Strap her to a lift sled. She might fall, Nymel frowned. I'd rather she fall than us be burned into ash. Ellie walked over and placed something in his hand. A sticker. A little smiling sun with glitter edges. Thank you for the pillow fort, she said quietly. Varnick stared at her, then the sticker. A creature this innocent, this small, had humanity's full military force hurtling toward them. It was madness. He tried to smile. It came out as a pained grimace. Ellie, he said carefully, how would you feel about going home now? She nodded. Okay. But I want my noodles first. No noodles, Varnick muttered. We don't have time for. Emergency override, the AI suddenly announced. User Ellie has activated command mode. What? On the central monitor, a cheerful UI popped up. Welcome back, Ellie. Initiate fun mode? She pressed a glowing icon. The hangar bay doors cycled open. The entire station vibrated. Oh no, Varnick whispered. On the screen, the human frigate adjusted course. A drop shuttle detached, sleek, black, silent. Varnick tried shutting the doors, but the system denied access. Priority Alpha lock engaged. She is root control, he muttered. We can't stop them. The drop shuttle landed with mechanical grace. Varnick, Nymel, and Ellie stood just inside the hangar. Armed Marines exited first, forming a perimeter. Each wore full exosuit armor, visors polarized. Then he stepped out. A mountain of a man. His arms were marked with scars. His gait was too calm. And he carried a stuffed bear under one arm. Uncle Ash! Ellie yelled, bolting toward him. Varnick winced, but Ash knelt and scooped her up like she was made of glass. You okay, Starbug? He asked gently. She nodded, proud. They gave me buttons. He raised an eyebrow at Varnick. Did they? They were pressed. Accidentally, Varnick stammered. Ash stared him down, saying nothing. Then handed Ellie off to another soldier. He stepped forward. You the one in charge? Varnick lifted a trembling hand. Technically. Technically's how wars start. I didn't authorize this. I was trying to fix it. Ash grunted. She said you made her laugh. She did? Yeah. Which means I won't break your spine. That's deeply appreciated. Ash looked at Nymel. You must be the genius behind this mess. I was conducting interspecies behavioral studies. You kidnapped a kid. She smiled. She smiles at squirrels. A silence hung between them. Then Ash nodded once, as if making a decision. I'm not going to kill anyone today, he said. But I'm reporting this. Expect every protocol in the Concord rewritten. Varnick bowed. Yes, of course. Thank you for your... Ash raised a finger. We're not done. He gestured to Ellie, who peeked from behind a Marine's leg. She wants to come back. On her terms. With protections. You'll host her. Officially. Under human oversight. Varnick blinked. She wants to return? Ash shrugged. She liked your noodles. Nymel perked up. That's a successful outcome. Varnick groaned. No. That's an invitation for madness. Ash turned, pausing only once. She likes you, he said. Don't make me regret sparing you. Then he was gone. The shuttle lifted off. Ellie waved from the viewport, her drawing pressed against the glass. A stick figure alien and a human child, holding hands again. Varnick stood frozen. Nymel sighed, satisfied. See? She had fun. Varnick sat down hard. She's coming back, he whispered. Then he buried his face in his hands. And next time, she might bring friends. 3 days. That's how long it took for Varnick's ulcer to develop a personality. The humans didn't annihilate Sarek 9. Instead, they did something far worse, they filed paperwork. Diplomatic inquiries, cross-species education requests, psychological evaluations, nutritional compatibility charts. The forms arrived in thick digital bursts, most tagged urgent in 12 languages. The Council even issued a directive, Human Juvenile Exchange Pilot Program. Varnick read it twice and still didn't believe it. Ellie wasn't a war crime anymore. She was a pilot program. She'll be back in 6 days, Nymel chirped as she decorated the new welcome station in the atrium. And she's bringing her teacher. And 2 friends. Varnick stared blankly. They're sending more children? Well, technically, only one is a child. The other 2 are juvenile adjacent. 12 and 14 Earth cycles. It's developmental diversity. He slumped into his seat. We went from extinction-level threat to glorified babysitting service. Nymel placed a banner above the doorway. It read, Welcome young Deathworlders, in cheerful red font. Is that blood-colored? Varnick asked. It's cherry. That's not helping. The transport arrived with 0 ceremony. No weapons, no intimidation. Just a sleek vessel with pastel flower decals and an Earth emblem that read Kindle Core Outreach and Joy Division. When the hatch opened, Varnick felt his legs lock. Ellie bounded out first, arms spread. Bluehead. She wrapped him in a hug so fast he couldn't dodge. You smell like noodles. Behind her came the others. A tall girl with cybernetic arms and a sideways smirk. And a quiet boy wearing glasses that blinked with neural data overlays. Their human escort, stern, composed, clipboard in hand, walked out last. Varnick Core, she asked. He raised one claw. Unfortunately. I'm Director Lena Park. I'll be monitoring all interactions. This is a controlled trial under the Concord's Tier 1 Educational Integration Plan. I never signed up for this. Doesn't matter. You're listed as co-sponsor. Nymel waved. We volunteered. I never volunteered, Varnick muttered. You said, fine, whatever gets them off our moon. That's verbal consent. That was desperation. Park handed him a data tablet. Here's the hour-by-hour itinerary, dietary tolerances, social expectations, and psychological emergency protocol. Varnick blinked at the list. Why does it say bite-proof sleeves mandatory? Park deadpanned, experience. The first incident happened during snack time. Varnick provided algae cakes and nutrient syrup. The older boy, James, probed it with a stylus, then asked, is this bioengineered to suppress predatory instincts? It's cake, Varnick said. The tall girl, Daria, bit into hers whole, chewed twice, and declared, tastes like wet science. Ellie smiled and whispered to Varnick, she eats bugs sometimes. I didn't need to know that. They moved to cultural exchange activities. The humans were instructed to not demonstrate combat techniques. Daria ignored that entirely. She tossed a security droid across the room and asked, do you guys have wrestling? We have diplomacy. Boring. Park scribbled on her clipboard, unfazed. Nymel pulled Varnick aside. This is going so well. You call that well? He whispered, gesturing to James scanning the ceiling with a portable drone. He's cataloging structural weaknesses. I know. That's what worries me. Ellie's drawing again. Varnick glanced down. Another picture, this time it was the whole group. Humans and Zenthari, standing under a bright yellow sun. No weapons, no fire, just smiles. A strange warmth crept through him. By evening, things shifted. Varnick found Ellie sitting alone by the viewport, hugging her stuffed bear. She didn't notice him at first. Something wrong? He asked gently. She shrugged. I miss my mom. He sat beside her. She's the commander, right? Ellie nodded. She says I'm her starlight. That even when I'm far, she sees me. Varnick watched her face. The quiet vulnerability pierced deeper than any weapon. You scared me, you know, he said. Why? Because you're small. And humans are not. She smiled faintly. Daddy says we're not big because of size. We're big because we care too hard. Varnick blinked. That sounds dangerous. It is, she said, serious now. That's why he worries. There was a pause. I don't want you to be scared anymore, she added. I don't want to be either. She handed him another sticker, this one shaped like a heart. No glitter. Just red. Don't worry, she whispered. I'll protect you next time. The following day, the humans prepared to leave. The trial was deemed a success. No deaths. No explosions. Only one minor fire. As the children filed into the shuttle, Ellie ran back to Varnick. I'm coming back in a month, she said. We're going to bring science kits and slime. He flinched. Please don't. She giggled, then grew serious. I'm glad you didn't get squished. Me too. She looked at him with solemn eyes. We're not monsters, you know. I'm starting to believe that. Then she kissed his cheek, right on the frill. Varnick stood frozen as she vanished into the ship. Nymel walked up behind him. So, still want to transfer off this moon? Varnick exhaled. More than ever. She grinned. You love it. He said nothing. Just watched the shuttle rise and disappear into the sky. Later that night, alone in his quarters, he opened the tablet Park had left. There, buried under protocol and notes, was a message. From Ellie. A recording. Hi Bluehead. Thank you for being my friend. Next time I'll bring stickers for everyone. Even the crabby guard who smells like socks. You're not scary. You're nice. I told my mom you made me laugh. She said I could keep you. Varnick blinked. Bye. Don't explode. Love, Ellie. He set the tablet down. And smiled. The day started with silence. No alarms. No orbital pings. No human warships hovering overhead. Varnick found this deeply suspicious. He walked into the command bay with his second tea of the morning and froze. The message alert had 3 flashing indicators: Galactic Concord Broadcast, Human Outreach Directorate, and, worst of all, Interstellar Trending. He tapped the first. The holodisplay blinked to life. Today, we feature a touching moment from the outer edges of the Orion Arm, where a Zenthari logistics officer and a group of human children prove that even the coldest moons can thaw in the warmth of understanding. Varnick's claws tightened around his teacup. Why are we on the news? He whispered. Nymel appeared behind him, grinning. Didn't you hear? We went viral. He spun. Viral? What did you do? I uploaded footage from last week's program. The one where Ellie reprogrammed the food dispenser to serve marshmallow algae paste. Everyone loved it. There's fan art. Varnick groaned. We're a military outpost, not a daycare. She drew you with bunny ears. It's cute. He covered his face. I'm going to be court-martialed by meme. Nymel scrolled through her tablet. We've got messages from 46 species requesting collaborative youth outreach. Earth's council wants to send a TV crew. A crew? Like with cameras? With scripts? I can't do this, Varnick said. I joined the board or watch to disappear. Not to host an intergalactic children's special. Too late. By midday, the base was crawling with civilians. The humans arrived first. A camera drone hovered just inches from Varnick's face as he tried to organize crate manifests. A cheerful woman in neon pink introduced herself as Lexi Bubbles, galactic culture correspondent. Tell me, Varnick, can I call you Var? What does it feel like to be the galaxy's favorite alien uncle? I feel like jumping into the waste recycler. Lexi beamed. Classic Var. Can we get that again with a wink? Next came the merch vendors. Somehow, someone had turned Ellie's stick figure art into collectible holograms. The Blue Head Protector line sold out in 5 systems. Varnick's likeness now adorned plushies, cereal boxes, and, mysteriously, a line of scented candles. He cornered Nymel in the mess hall. Why are there toys of me? You're an icon now. I'm a paper pusher. Not anymore. That afternoon, the real chaos landed. Ellie returned, unannounced. She strode off the shuttle like royalty, wearing a tiny cape and sparkly boots. I missed you, Bluehead. Varnick froze. You said you were coming in a month. I lied. I brought friends. Behind her spilled a dozen young humans, several alien children from unknown species, and one massive creature with 6 arms and a translator that said, I am TIM. Varnick stared. You brought a Cabranic hatchling? Ellie grinned. Tim's my bodyguard. Tim nodded solemnly. I swore an oath. Varnick backed against the wall. This is an invasion. This is how it starts. Smiling children and oaths of protection. Nymel whispered, the Human Outreach Program approved a cross-species cultural camp. Sarek 9 is the new pilot site. I need tranquilizers, Varnick muttered. Ellie held out a sticker shaped like a planet. It's okay. We made an anthem. Oh stars. She cleared her throat. The kids lined up. Then they began to sing. The anthem, titled Galactic Friendship is Our Core, included hand gestures, holographic projections, and a musical breakdown involving kazoo solos. Varnick endured all 6 verses. Lexi Bubbles clapped wildly. That was divine. One of the camera drones zoomed in on Varnick's face. He tried to smile. It came out as a twitch. The day descended into organized madness. Workshops sprang up across the base. Kids reprogrammed the navigation AI to speak in rhyme. A Zenthari in turn accidentally got glitter glued to his antennae. Tim broke a door by attempting a group hug. At one point, Varnick found himself seated at a table, being served imaginary tea by a 6-year-old wearing a colander as a crown. This is poisonberry, she said cheerfully. I believe you. Later, as dusk fell and the chaos mellowed, Varnick sat alone on the observation deck. The stars outside were silent. Cold. Comforting. He sipped real tea this time. No marshmallows. Footsteps approached. It was Ellie. She sat beside him, swinging her legs. Today was fun, she said. Varnick grunted. For some definitions of the word. You didn't scream once. I did. Internally. She giggled. Then leaned against his side. I want to live here when I grow up. He blinked. You do? Yep. I'll be your assistant. We'll have tea. And protect baby aliens. Varnick didn't answer. Not at first. Then he said, you'd be good at it. She nodded. You too. That night, after the crew left and the kids were asleep, Varnick sat in the command bay, scrolling through reports. One file caught his eye. Classified. He hesitated. Then opened it. Subject, LEKESS, Classification, Human Tier 3 Diplomatic Asset. Status, Observed Anomaly, High Empathy, Moderate Influence Potential, Latent Tactical Intuition. Note, Father, Colonel Ash Kess. Mother, Commander Ilana Kess. Clearance, Level V. He leaned back in his chair. So that's what you are, he whispered. Not a weapon. Not a threat. Something more dangerous. A bridge. And somehow, he was part of it now. The final message arrived just before system shutdown. An encrypted file. From Ellie. A drawing. Him, surrounded by children of every species. Above them, a banner, Ambassador of Friendship. He closed the file. Smiled. And turned off the lights.